I'm going to have you start on your back body and take the strap with you. So go ahead and make your way onto your mat, having your blocks close by and a strap when you lay down. And you can just come into constructive rest, just laying on the back with the knees bent. The feet can be wide. And the knees can knock together. There we go. And then rest your hands somewhere on your body. Welcome to your practice. Welcome to today. Welcome to all that is present for you, just as it is. So attuning to sensation at every level of you, where you recognize the physical body, so what you feel in your body, your bones, your muscles, the joints of your body, and also what you feel emotionally, without pushing any sensation away, just recognizing what's present. Energetically, how is your overall sense of how dynamic you feel, how vital you feel, how sort of rested you feel, without calling it anything, if you can help yourself from naming it too critically. Just being with what is. Take a few more really deep breaths in and out. And then start to make your way into just happy baby, Ananda Balasana. You can hold the outer edges of your feet and gently draw the thighs down outside the ribs, the knees working their way towards the earth. Or you can hold at your ankles or behind the knees, somewhere on the lower legs. Just where it feels comfortable for you. And feel free to create a little fluidity. So you can start to let things move. Emotion, energy and motion. Just kind of letting things have a place to go. And then keep it half happy baby. So the one just right leg will stay in, and then straighten your left leg out. So it's long towards the top edge of your mat or towards the end of your mat. And then just holding there for a moment, really activating the long leg, the left leg. And then just hug your right knee into your chest, so you don't have to have kind of that more 90-degree angle, but you can hug the knee in and capture your strap. Just wrapping the strap around the ball or the arch of your right foot, and then extending the leg to the degree that it feels okay and you just meet with that initial sensation of tension. And then get a little bit of an energy of drawing your right leg bone just gently down. So it's not jamming into the joint or anything, but just gently down. And so you feel a sense of grounding through your sacrum. And then hold the two ends of the strap if you're using a strap. You could also just be holding onto the leg. If you're using a strap, holding the two loose ends, gently allow your right leg to move to the right. It's also descending slightly down. And it's also gently drawing towards you and kind of the end of the mat where your head is, right? So up towards the top. And energy can move in all different directions, and we can feel all different emotions at the same time. So there's grounding, there's also expanding. So there's rooting, there's also reaching. You can find some of those dynamics, just really awakening. And this includes your left leg that is long and kind of might feel like it's just hanging out. Maybe you can wake it up, turn it on. Drive through both heels And again, that right leg is opening slightly to the right. It's also drawing towards you and just gently down. Also reaching through the heel of that foot. And then go ahead and bring the right leg across your body, switching so you're holding the strap or your leg with your left hand. And then maybe your right arm reaches to the right just to kind of anchor you down. And you can cross the leg over the body and towards the left side. Okay, so just getting into the outer right hip a little bit. Notice where things lock up. And so where there's no space for energy to move, can you free that up a little bit? Even if it means kind of turning your toes side to side, like kind of wagging the leg in the air. It means softening the jaw, or your face, your eyes, your expression. Maybe it means the heart. Maybe you've been holding on. This has been a very interesting time, for lack of a better word, and for being intentional about not planting any seeds that aren't there. It's a trip, right? So what, fill in the blank on how you've been feeling, and it's all okay. Come back to center, release the strap, hug the knees in for a second, so both knees in, and then come back to happy baby, holding both feet. So your sacrum settles, your low belly draws in, the shoulder blades soften, the backside ribs can just be held by their scapulas, and maybe there's some rocking. Before we just move off to the other side, so you're going to keep holding on to the left leg and straighten the right leg out, and you kind of know what's happening now. So you can kind of allow yourself to settle back and let the mind quiet just a bit, move more into the bodily sensation, into the being present with what is, eventually hugging the left knee in, giving it a squeeze, preparing to employ the strap around the left foot. And you find a comfortable spot for that. You can extend through the leg until you just meet with, the hamstrings tension, right? So find that without forcing anything, invite it to you. And then a little bit of energy of the head of your femur bone down into the ball and socket joint of the hip, not jamming. It's almost as if you're looking for center, right? So just gently grounding in and then opening the left leg to the left. And so it's slow and you're just kind of exploring what's here today. Wake up your right leg. Feel this culmination of directional energies. And so the values, there's a little bit of energy up, there's some energy down. Can you find these sensations of sort of meeting in the middle a little bit, which allows us to feel contained and maybe a little bit more fortified? Maybe. Your facial expression, your jaw, things can soften where they don't need to be gripping. And you're inviting in just a clarity of breath. And so that each breath kind of clears away any unnecessary residue, any kind of dust, any cobwebs in the corners. Cross the body, switch which hands holding the strap or the leg. Take it over to the other side now. Maybe your left arm is kind of grounding you to the opposite side. Just a little bit of gravitational grounding, or a little bit of a levering, a little weight. I notice myself kind of moving and bouncing my leg a little bit because the dynamic movement allows me to get a little deeper. So you explore. Let this be sort of always a place of inquiry within your own body. When you feel ready to come back to center, if you feel balanced between the two sides, maybe one side needs a little less or more, you can come back, release the strap, hug your knees into your chest, and then set your feet down to the ground like you're going to set up for bridge. You're going to pick up your hips and then just place your hands under your sacrum. I'm going to create like the shape of a diamond with my index fingers and my thumbs touching, and place that right under my sacrum. So lifting the hips up, a momentary pause and bridge if you want, and then set the sacrum back down onto that stand that you've created with your hands under your hips. And you can kind of rock a little side to side. If you've done this before, you kind of know where I'm going, but just, you can always adjust it, right? Don't feel like it's locked in place if once you get your legs up in the air, which is what's next, it doesn't feel comfortable. You can adjust it. And let's cross the ankles up there over the head. So you started with the hands under the sacrum, your legs now go into the air, Viparita Karani, and then we're crossing the ankles and kind of sealing the inner thighs. And then try to draw your low belly down into the low back and into the floor. And maybe it broadens the low back a little bit. Seal the inner thighs. See if it feels okay to lower your long legs towards the earth, bringing the heels almost to graze the floor. And then inhale back up. And as you exhale, we'll do that again. So long legs, squeeze inner thighs, draw the low belly down, lower the legs almost till the heels touch the floor, and then come back up. And maybe there's one more of those. Lowering, hovering, and then coming back up, and then switch ankles in front, and do it 3 more times. So squeezing inner thighs, finding adduction towards the center line, sealing inner thighs, and then slowly low back draws down as you lower the heels. Exhaling, inhaling all the way back up. Yep, and then exhaling and lowering. Let's do it 3 times that side. You're so strong, you're awakening through the belly, the inner thighs. We got 1 more, we'll lift up. And then release. Unwind the legs, and then free your hands by lifting the hips up into bridge. Keep the hips up. Now bind your hands underneath your sacrum, so you have that fist with your 2 hands. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you, kind of broaden across the chest and the heads of the shoulders. Drive the fists that you're making with your hands into the earth and lift your hips as high as they'll go. 1 more big breath in, slowly release the hand grip, slowly start to come down. Hips come to the ground and we'll rock up to table pose. So go ahead and come up, just getting into your body. So if there's ever a time when I'm out of words or unsure what to say, moving, breathing, then it seems like a really good time for that, to just listen and be for a moment, to hit the pause button and be. All right, from table pose, take your right arm to the sky. We'll create thread the needle, and we're also going to bind the left arm around. So first, just bring your right shoulder underneath you, threading that right arm underneath you. Bring the right side of your head to the earth, and then take your left arm towards the sky. And see if you can fold it around the small of the back and just tuck the fingers into the right side inner thigh. And then maybe you can gaze up and beyond your left shoulder. Draw the shoulder blade down and back. You can stay just as you are. If you want to straighten your left leg out, consider keeping it askew and the toes to the floor. Just straightening the leg way off to the side, so it gives you a little counterbalance, and then kind of rolling a little more weight onto the right side shoulder. All that stuff is an add-on. Threading the needle, binding, and then the leg. So just take what you need, leave what you don't. Couple more breaths, just peeling open left shoulder, left pec, from the back of that right shoulder. First unwind, you're gonna bring your left knee down, it's lifted, unwind your left arm, use the left hand to push you up and free the right arm to the sky. And then just prepare to go to the other side. So on your hands and your knees, left arm can reach up now. That's it, you guys. And then thread the left arm through. And then you can decide if you want to take it a little further with your right arm to the sky and reaching it around the small of the back. Tucking it in, and straightening the opposite leg long, all the way to the back, and slightly askew. I read something over the last few days that anger is the deepest form of compassion. And it is the side effect of suffering and something percolating to the surface. And this is like a feeling, not a behavior of anger, right? A feeling of anger. Good. We care so much about something that we have to have it go somewhere. You feel slightly cooked there or ready, you can start to unwind the arm that's on top, push off, knees down, unwind, and then sit back into an embryo shape. So with your knees together, if you can, Just let your forehead come down to the earth or a block, and then your arms just stream behind you. And so you're just kind of curling into yourself, letting the back body and your low back just kind of expand. Allowing the jaw to soften and just, you're just letting. So allowing, accepting, being, breathing, trusting. And when you feel ready, we're going to come to standing on the shin bones and the arms over the head. So out of this embryo, stand all the way up on your knees and take your arms up. Full inhale, and as you exhale, sit into Vajrasana, where your hips come to your heels and your palms can turn up on your thighs. And then let the hands land behind you. So you're maybe on your finger pads like me with the hands tented. Then lift your hips up and open your heart and the heads of the shoulders. Take a full inhale. And as you exhale, set the hips back down and just crawl back to table pose where you've been before. And then cow. Let the belly drop as you lift your tail, lift your chin, lift your heart, inhaling. And then slide back to embryo, taking the arms behind you and letting the head fall gently to the floor. And then go again, stand up on your shin bones, arms over the head. That's a big breath in. And Vajrasana, land hips to heels, palms turned up on your lap. Slide the hands behind you on your finger pads, lift your hips up, open the heart, look up. Exhale, set it down and crawl forward into table on your hands and knees. And then cow pose, belly drops, tail lifts, heart opens, look up. Slide back embryo. And we're gonna flow with that again. So as you're ready for an inhale, rise up. Sit in Vajrasana, palms turned up on the lap. Hands behind you. Take your own pace. Lift your hips up, fill up. Set the hips down and crawl the hands forward. Cow pose, your belly drops, your tail lifts, your chin rises. Exhale, embryo, arms stream behind you. Go again, rise up, push off, inhale. Sit down, Vajrasana, exhale. Hands behind you, open-hearted, inhale, lift up, fully embodied, what's present here. Exhale, set the hips down, crawl forward, table pose. Now cow pose, inhale, listen. Downward facing dog as you exhale, and you might grab your blocks and just make sure that they're kind of towards the back-ish edge of your mat, so they're there for you. You might need them back there, and then Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Take a moment to do what allows you to kind of arrive in the body from this place, from this new vantage, taking with you everything that you've gathered so far to kind of start to open the body. And then pedaling out a knee at a time and shaking the head out. Awesome. Yes, Amaryllis. Beautiful, you guys. And then kind of remember that shape that we did when we were on our backs and we sealed the inner thighs and crossed the ankles. I just want you to kind of visualize what that looks like, where your feet are on backwards. Take your right leg and reach it up and back and tuck your right ankle in and behind your left one. So it's that same sensation of the crossed ankles. It's okay to bend your knee, left knee as much as you need to, and I want you to travel your hands back to your left foot. And then this is where the block might be handy under your hands, because then what I want you to do is kind of ground both feet. So sliding your left foot back to almost, or work in the direction of lining your toes up. Okay, so it has that more of a grounded 2 feet on the ground sensation. It's all right to have the knees bent. It's fine to have a block under your hands. So ground in, take a little halfway lift, and as you exhale, pour your body, taking the block with you over to the left, and just hang your head. If you can squeeze inner thighs in, see if there's a little bit of an awakening you can create there. Maybe there is, maybe not. The belly is hugging in, and you're just kind of pouring your torso over the legs, head towards the floor, decompress the spine, really wake up through the outer right hip. You can come back to center, maybe a little bit of a halfway lift. As much as you need to bend the knees, you're going back to down dog with this cross of the legs, so the same way we came in, and then take your right leg up and back. Then step your right foot wide to the right hand. And just for a moment, let your hips dip like they're hanging like a hammock. And lift your heart, push off with the hands. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, you can set the back knee down and maybe come down onto your forearms or reach back, take the block, bring it up to the top of the mat, and you can rest your forearms on that block. But we're going to bow into your version of a sort of runner's lunge. Just for a moment. Hang your head if it feels good. Come really low if it feels good. Hold it up and be more active if that feels good. So whatever is present for you today, you can notice and incorporate the movements into that, making them more charged to burn some energy, some heat, more softening if that will balance you. And then listen, with the back knee down, with your right leg kind of askew and the right toes turned out a little, maybe towards 2 o'clock or so, bring the hands back underneath you and straighten your forward leg, pulling back into a half split with the leg askew. Your hands inside the right leg, pushing off, and just straightening that leg out. When you come back, you'll rebend the knee. You've got the toes at 2 o'clock. Hands walk forward, tuck the back toes. Once again, kind of dip the hips, but pick up the back knee. So you're back where you started. And then malasana, step your left foot to mirror your right. So now your toes are turned out and you sit into a squat. Steeple grip. Actually, before we do that, I want to take the right arm in front of the right shin so we get a little twist here. So hook your right elbow if you can, kind of in front of the right shin, and peel that arm off to the right. Use that as a levering point and reach your left arm to the left. My arms are still pretty limited, and I'm rehabbing them, but as far as you can open that up, do it, okay? So don't think that like I'm showing you how. Reach as far as you can. If you like binding, you could reach your right arm around towards the right glute and your left arm behind to capture, and maybe there's a bind there. Shoulder blades down the back. Okay, so just awakening through the body, and then when you unwind, bring the hands to the heart and steeple grip. So you interlace all 10 fingers and release your index fingers. When you stand up, pull yourself up and off to the right. So get really strong through the legs, push off like a rocket, come all the way up, and then up and over to the right side. Maybe you can pull your right armpit forward a little bit, your right ribs forward a little bit, and you can even kind of gaze up beyond your left tricep. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, just slide right back down to malasana squat. And then turn your toes forward just a bit and take halfway lift with your feet wide. And then step your left foot back behind you. You can walk your right foot in a couple steps towards midline if that feels better, and then bring the back knee down. Hands on your right thigh. Use it to lever, kind of dragging the flesh of your right thigh forward, and lift your heart up and back. Take a really big breath in, and as you breathe out, hands to the mat and step to downward facing dog. And then from downward facing dog, pull forward very mindfully with a big breath into plank. And you can lower either halfway down or to the belly down, using the knees or not. And then come to a little back bend, cobra or up dog. And then slide back to down dog. So knowing you might need a block at the back of the mat, you can always toss it back there again. And then we're taking the left leg up and back to start. Put your feet on backwards, so left ankle behind the right. And remember, you can bend your right knee as much as you need to as you walk your hands back there. And then a hand to block connection if that helps you. Halfway lift, and then pour over to the right side. Hang your head, get into the outer left hip, and just breathing. Yes, good, Kimberly, awesome. Yeah, this is squeezing in towards the midline, kind of that adduction sensation. And the block can come back towards the center. And then walk it back to downward facing dog. Take your left leg and reach it up and back behind you. Step your left foot wide to the left hand. Bring the back knee down for a moment. Settle into your runner's lunge. You can kind of pause there, kind of lifting the heart and letting the hips sink. And then create what feels really good on this side. Knowing that we'll be there for a few breaths. We just ask ourselves to check in with what is present, and we do it so easily when it comes to the physical body, sometimes not so much to the energetic. We ignore our emotions, or we push them away and we kind of hide them. But what is really here, and what if all of that was just in due order and in due time and perfectly placed? When you're ready for Ardha Hanuman with that leg slightly askew, you can come back up, walk the hands back as the hips slide back, and straighten the left leg, hands inside there. Heart reaching forward, the energy of your left head of the femur kind of drawing back into the hip socket like we did when we were on our backs. Breathing into the space you're creating, wherever that is, whatever layer of you that is. And then you can come back to bent knee, pick up the back knee, dip the hips, lift the heart. Malasana squat, so the right foot mirrors the left. Sit low and take a moment for the twist, maybe binding first. Left arm in front of left shin bone. Right arm reaches and opens, or you can sweep around, capture, and your heart is kind of spinning towards the inner right thigh, the right side of your space, as your right shoulder blade draws down. And then unwind, come back to center, steeple, grip your hands. Maybe you can find the one that feels awkward. Piece, or the index fingers released, come up and over to the left side. So really strong through your legs, up and over to the left side. Pull, breathe, left shoulder forward a little bit, look up, maybe beyond your right shoulder. Nice big inhale. As you exhale, slide back down, Malasana. And then turn the toes forward, take a little halfway lift, and step your right foot back. Bring the back knee down, set the hands to the left thigh. Push off, lift the heart. Nice big breath in when you're ready for it, and then downward facing dog. So you can step back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Good, and then plank pose, pull forward, take a huge inhale. And either lowering halfway or to belly down for your little back bend. Up dog or cobra, awesome, beautiful, yes. And then downward facing dog. And then just sun salutation. So just to kind of continue warming and connecting your body, your breath, and what you're feeling here. So bend the knees, take an inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk or hop up to the top of the mat. Halfway lift as you inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, fold forward, go all the way to standing. So push down to rise up, fill up. And then meet your hands in front of your heart. And then take the arms up again, fill up. And fold forward, pour down your legs. Just halfway lift again, so lengthen out. And then plank pose can become chaturanga. You can lower to the belly. You can take up dog or cobra. You can skip all of that. Whatever you need there, and meet in downward facing dog. And then do two more. Surya A. So when you feel ready, you can inhale, bend the knees, and look forward. And top of the mat. And then lengthen. Start stretching the breath, fold forward, go all the way up. Hands Anjali Mudra at the heart center, stay standing, and then you begin again. You go all the way up, and then fold. And then lengthen. And Chaturanga Dandasana, or anything that gets you back to down dog. Using the breath, allowing it to settle you back into sensation. Once you meet with down dog, one more of those. So you can take it perfectly at your own pace, perfectly at your own pace. We'll meet back in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. So we meet back in downward facing dog. Make sure, okay, good. Awesome, Heidi. Got a little friend with you. And then from down dog, take your right leg and reach it up and back. Step your right foot forward in between the hands, just right at the center of the mat this time. And then bring the back knee down. We'll string the arms behind us in Anjaneyasana. So this inhale is Anjaneyasana, arms streaming back, right foot down and back, left knee down and forward. There's a little sensation of lifting as you reflect yourself away from the ground. Now take a big breath in. Think Ardha Hanuman, but can you stream your arms forward? So that half splits from this place. Straighten the right leg and take your arms forward. You might gaze slightly forward. So you have to establish your center. You've already kind of worked into the right leg. And then where you have your feet on backwards, I want you to visualize that up at the top of the mat with the left ankle behind the right. And then step forward to that and take a halfway lift with your left ankle behind your right, lifting the heart and then pouring over to the right side as you exhale. And now just kind of find stability. When you come back to center, your right leg becomes your standing leg again. Take the left knee forward, standing knee raise. So come back to center. However you need to do that. Your gaze can go forward. You can put a little bend in the knees. You can start by coming up and then knee forward. Just finding your way to this place with the left knee forward and the arms over the head. Take a very big breath in, finding your stability through the right side. As you exhale, left foot steps back and you'll fly your lunge. So land on the ball of the left foot and find your center, stream the arms back. And now reverse your warrior. So back heel down and flat, open up, left arm down the left leg as the right arm reaches up and over. Really big breath in. Extended side angle, your forearm can come to your thigh, your left arm can go to the sky or over your head. Good. When you feel ready for it, Skandasana into the left knee bend. So I'm going to come out mindfully, turn my right toes in maybe an inch or so, and my left toes out just a little, and then drop down into the left knee bend. This can be as low or as high as you need it. Okay, so again, hamstrings, inner right thigh. When you feel ready, you can crawl back to the top of the mat, and we'll set up for a modified side plank. I'm going to bring my left knee down, pivot the toes behind me, so my left toes behind me, and step the right foot to the back edge of the mat. Left hand is down, pretty much under the left shoulder, maybe slightly forward of it, and the right arm up. Or you could reach over your head. Good, so side plank variations, take a full inhale. Your Chaturanga Dandasana exhale. So hands to the mat, plank, halfway down or belly down. A baby back bend. This is the expression that feels the best to you, and then downward facing dog. And then take your left leg and reach it up and back behind you. Step your left foot forward. Know that we're setting up for Anjaneyasana, back knee down and the arms streaming. So come up, find yourself, find the floor, and that energy is both down. It could be all these things, that it's down, in, and up. It's all these things. I'm happy, I'm mad, I'm angry, whatever. Like all these things can be here. Take a very big breath in, and then half splits with your arms streaming forward. So pause, kind of integrate the wobbles. You can always touch down, right? You don't have to struggle if it's too much right now. And then when we go into our halfway lift, it's with the feet on backwards. So the right ankle's tucked in and behind. So as you're ready for it, hands down, slide your right ankle in and behind, take a little halfway lift, and then pour off to the left. So really, you know where you're going to standing knee raise with the right knee forward. So you can start to establish yourself. Looking forward, coming back towards center, putting a bend in the knees, however that's stabilizing you, and then come up. So we have to look for the tools that stabilize us. And then arms up. Take a full inhale, standing knee raise, arms are over the head, and then step back to a flying lunge. And then reverse warrior. So the back heel spins down. You can open this out, inhaling up and back. And then exhaling to extended side angle, forearms thigh, right arm either to the sky or over your head. And then we're going into our lunge. So as you come out mindfully, just taking care of the knees, I'm going to turn my left toes in a little bit and right toes out a tad. You're just kind of checking in with your knees, trying to track them with the shins and the toes. The Skandasana into the right knee bend. And then when you come forward towards the top of the mat, it's a modified side plank, so you can crawl it forward. I'm going to set my right knee down, pivot the right toes behind me as I place the right hand, left foot to the back, and left arm up or over. And then a very big breath in. And your flow through Vinyasa. Chaturanga Dandasana. Yeah, awesome. Meeting downward dog. Yes, good. And then let's do that again. All right, so take your right leg up and back. This time curl your knee and tap your nose as you exhale. And then send the leg high again. Good, carry. Right foot forward, back knee down. Arms stream behind you as you inhale and open up, look up. And then the arms can go forward as you straighten the forward leg, finding stability, grounding. So feet on backwards. As you touch down and rebend, slide the left ankle in and behind and take a little halfway lift and then pour off to the right. Standing knee raise with your left knee forward. So see what happens if you just trust and come up, even if it means you fall out. Arms up, knee forward. And then stream the arms back as you step the left foot back, flying lunge. And then open it up to reverse your warrior. An extended side angle, but this time we'll hang out for a moment to take a bind. So your left arm can tuck around if you wish, bringing the top of the hand to the low back and then slide it into the right thigh. Okay, so the palm faces out. Maybe that's as far as you go. Or you could take a full bind, reaching the right arm under and behind the right knee. Take a full bind and just looking up. Okay, so giving yourself what you need, even if it's temporarily what you need, and then it becomes your melting point and you come out. Listen. When you're ready for the unwind, we come up and we move into Skandasana toward the back of the mat. So again, building it and coming down. And then if you want to take a bind here, kind of like in Malasana, the left arm can come in front of the left shin. The right arm can go the length of the right leg, or opening even more, or even binding behind. And then right shoulder down, opening kind of towards the inner right thigh here. And just awakening through your right leg. So notice it's just hanging out. It's energized, it's reflected. Unwinding any binds, coming to the top of the mat for our side plank. Left arm is your base, the knee can be down or not. Knife edge of left foot, possibly. Right arm to the sky. Okay, so Vasisthasana. Take a big breath in, Vasisthasana. And then Chaturanga Dandasana when you're ready. Awesome, beautiful. Good, Jen, yeah. Beautiful. Meet me downward facing dog. Left leg rises. Left leg up and back. Knee curls into nose. Awesome. Left leg up and back. Left foot forward, back knee down. Open your heart, open your eyes, fill up. Half splits with the arms streaming forward. And then we take that halfway lift with the right ankle behind the left. So come in and then pour to the left. When you come back to center, it's a little halfway lift and we establish for that right knee forward, arms up. And then flying lunge. So slowly pivot, step back, straighten the arms. Ground the back heel, the water wheel open into reverse warrior. And then extended side angle as you exhale. And now we pause for binds. So the right arm can come around the small of the back and capture the inner thigh. You could let the ear fall to the shoulder here and just, this feels really sweet, or full binds. Left arm under, capturing, drawing the heart back. Okay? What is it that your body is asking of you? Is it pushing, burning it out? Is it softening back? Awesome, I can see you. Amazing. When you come out, slowly just releasing grips and binds. So we release the binds, we release the chains. We come up, we adjust the feet a little bit and drop into Skandasana, right knee bending. And then anything there that kind of opens it up for you. You're going to have your right arm in front of your right shin, left arm straining down the length of your left leg with a bind. Good, yeah, the strap, I see you using the strap, awesome. So bridging the gap, if you can't quite get your hands there, but you want to try, we'll work with the strap in a minute some more. Unwind, know that you're going to Vasisthasana with the right arm as the base. So you can crawl up to the top of the mat, maybe stand really low. Right arm base, pivot onto the knife edge of your right foot. Left arm to the sky. Hold and breathe, stabilize, get the wobbles out. Full inhale as you're ready, awesome. Chaturanga Dandasana, exhaling, plank. Lowering halfway or to the belly, up dog or cobra, and then down dog. And then travel your hands and feet to meet each other at the middle of the mat and have a seat. You'll want your strap close by. And then let's take Navasana for a moment. I'm gonna kind of angle myself a little bit. I've got my notes here in case I forget where I want to go. Navasana to start, so just kind of sit up tall on your sits bones, lean back, lift the heart up, so lift the low back away from the floor, take your arms forward, flip your feet, Navasana, straighten the legs if you wish, okay, up to you. Big breath in. As you breathe out, set the feet back down, and we'll set up for Jani Shirshasana. So right leg's gonna go straight, and I'm gonna just slightly angle it out away from being perfectly in line with my hips. So it just has a little bit of skew again. And then the sole of my left foot is coming to the inner thigh of the right leg. All right, and so we're gonna kind of move the body in the direction of the left bent knee. So if it works for you, you can take your left hand around and try to capture the inner right thigh. And maybe you reach down and hold your foot. Right hand, right foot, left hand, inner right thigh, kind of opening out towards the sky. If you can't quite get there, take the strap with you around. And then what I'm gonna do is kind of almost S-loop it around my foot. And then I have a little bit of like a pulley system where I can kind of pull on the strap and get my left hand to come a little further into this. And then you can let your gaze go up towards the sky and your shoulder blades soften. So strap if it feels good, or left hand to inner right thigh, right hand to foot. Kind of tucking your right ribs under the left, looking up, breathing. When you release the binds, you can come up, and I want you to bend your right knee and kind of move your left foot a little bit out of the way. So this is gonna get weird. You gotta have enough space to maybe tuck your right elbow in there and maybe even thread your right arm under. Okay, so what if we were going for a bind here? Now, if you can't, oh my gosh, I can't reach my fingers, so then maybe we bridge the gap with the strap. Okay, it's possible. And you're either holding the strap or you're capturing your fingers. And then ground your right sitting bone. See if you can sit up and kind of pick up your right foot. And then is there any way that it wants to move towards straight? Now lift your heart, root through the sitting bones, so all different directions. Can you, maybe that right leg moves like a little fulcrum. It doesn't have to go anywhere towards fully straightened, but we just play. And then we'll release that. And release the bind, release the legs. Just bring your hands behind you, let your feet come to the ground and your knees just sort of wash side to side. And then you get to play with trying that on the other side. And so your left leg straight and slightly askew, so we'll call it like 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And then the right foot into the inner thigh. Right? And your right hand, so you're going to kind of imagine your heart sort of turning towards the bent knee. The right hand comes around and captures the thigh, or you start to bring the strap in there. And then you can S-loop it around your foot so that it becomes that pulley. So I'm going from the inner ball mount towards the pinky toe. You can do whatever you want, but these are things that help me a little. If you're going with the bind, my shoulders have been coming alive again. So the strap is almost not necessary anymore, which is so cool. But listen to what you've got on any given day, and then you get to work with it. And then right shoulder down and back. And you can open yourself up or maybe kind of fall in towards the leg. There's some variations of, well, we don't even have to give it a name, stretching, moving the body, variations of modes of movement. When you're ready to come out, you can come out. You can free yourself from the straps and the binds and things. And then bend your left knee, move your right foot kind of more towards midline or out of the way. And then you want enough space to be able to get your elbow under there. Left elbow under left knee crease. And then thread that arm through. See if it comes around to capture the right arm or hand behind you. And then can you sit up, grounding the sitting bones, both of them. And you still have the bind with either the strap or your hands connected. And then can you straighten your left leg? And you might be giving me an emphatic no. I can't either. So no is fine answer, but what is there? What's maybe? What does maybe look like? And do a few dynamic pulses. And then we'll release. And again, just hands behind you and windshield wiper your thighs. I'm just kind of freeing through sacrum, whatever feels good. You could do upward table if that feels like a good release. And then last thing we'll do is just a wide fold. So if you want to sit up on a bolster or a pillow or something, it's really just to catch the tips of the sitting bones and propel the pelvis slightly forward into an anterior tilt. So you could just literally be having it like, oh, you're almost not even sitting on it. So that's if you want something there. Legs wide, Uttanasana, this wide angle of the, or like it's almost like a triangular shape. And then bow forward to the degree that you have any space. And just a few breaths. Or maybe you even turn to frame one leg, bow in, and then turn to frame the other leg and bow in before we call it. And then we'll bring the legs together, tap the backs of the knees, windshield whopper your feet, whopper them side to side, and then you can make your way into downward facing dog. So Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. And take your, from that down dog, I see some of you are still making your way there. Good, yes, Sasha, just being exactly where you need to be. Take your right leg up and back. And let's revisit the beginning of that flow. Bring your back knee, step the right foot forward and bring the back knee down, and we'll leave that out. And then stream your arms behind you, full inhale. As you exhale, half splits, straightening and reaching. And then feet on backwards, a little halfway lift. Pour over to the right, exhaling. Come back to center, left knee forward and pause, so stand up. Pause here, bind your hands behind your back. Drag the knuckles down and start to make your way to warrior three or even toppling tree. So you could bring your body in line with the left leg behind you like a capital letter T, or even let your nose dip and your left leg go higher. So toppling tree or warrior three with the bind. Balance. When you're ready, keep the bind, step your left foot back, setting up for humble warrior. So find your feet, back heel is down, hips are and torso facing forward. With the knuckles bound, lift the heart, inhale, and as you exhale, bow in. Okay, so you're in humble warrior, knuckles reaching up and over. You can stay as you are. If this feels good, you can unwind the bind of your hands. Bring your hands inside the right foot. You can bind this, taking your right arm under and behind the knee crease of your right leg. And then your right hand comes around towards your right butt cheek. Left hand around to capture if you wish. You could stay here. So humble warrior, we're in this lizard-ish kind of shape with the bind, or you could come into birds of paradise. For that, you want to bring a little bit of weight into that right foot and step your left foot forward. And then with the bind, you can come out pushing off through the left foot, gaze is forward, stand up. See how much that right leg wants to straighten from here. So it might not be a lot. You can play. When you come out, we're coming out the way we came in. So coming up and playing, unwinding the bind, releasing the hands down, and then just straight into embryo. So onto hands and knees, hips back to heels, arms reach behind you and the forehead down. Okay. Where you are is perfect. If you're still playing, fine. If you're resting, great. If you're somewhere in between that, perfect. Like riding the wave of the breath and the reality of the moment, just what's here. So remember the flow we did before. If you're with me in embryo, inhale, stand up, arms over the head. Vajrasana, hips to heels, hands in the lap. Resetting, hands in behind you, lift your hips. Just use this as like a reset button. Exhale, hips to heels, hands forward into table, and then drop the belly, lift the tail. Inhale, going to downward dog, exhale. So go ahead and downward dog. Meeting back in downward dog, however you want to get there. And then take your left leg up and back. And left foot forward, back knee down. String the arms, Anjaneyasana with this open, lifted heart. And as you exhale, half splits with the arms forward. And then we take the right ankle in and behind the left for a little halfway lift, feet on backwards. And you pour off to the left side. Come back to center, right knee forward, inhale, come up. Stay here and bind your hands. So drag the knuckles down, start to inhale to warrior three, or pass right through it to toppling tree. One is not better, just something different. So you can play with maybe a moment in one and then go to the other. Keep the bind of your hands. And then we set up for warrior one, humble. So you're going to keep the bind, set the back foot down. Sweet. Drag the knuckles down as you open the heart, fill up. Bow in, humble warrior, exhaling. Good, you got it. Unwind the bind. And you can tuck your left shoulder in and behind if you wish. Reaching, maybe just flying the arms, maybe they come into a bind. If you want to move into birds of paradise. Just looking towards the earth, shifting the weight into the left foot so you can hop the right foot forward. Ground in, look forward, maybe stand up. Level off. And is there room to kick out? Not a lot today for me. Be with what's there for you. When you come back, we'll exit the same way we came in. Releasing any binds from down low. Amazing. And then embryo when you're ready. Just stepping back, unwinding binds, freeing yourself. Embryo. Let your body be heavy. Hands under the shoulders, push yourself off so that you can swing yourself around to laying on the back body. So just finding your way onto your back body. And you can lay flat on the back, maybe constructive rest, with the feet wide and the knees knocked in, the hands resting on your body. And taking the breath in and out, in and out. The last thing that I'm going to offer is with bound legs, a twisted root. So if you're feeling like something else is going to be better before we enter into just resting, you could take legs up the wall, you could come to headstand. Some of us find that to be down regulating, and so it's up to you what is next. If you want twisted root, maybe you consider just bringing the right leg up and over the left, eagling the legs. Take your arms out like a T and let the knees fall to the left side. Yeah, it's perfect what you've chosen. This poem that I mentioned at the beginning of class is by David White, and it's called Anger, and it's really beautiful, and I'll read maybe all of it for you, and if not, I'll send it to you in the follow-up email from registration. But it is about anger being the deepest form of compassion, really, as I mentioned before. And if you're in a twisted root, you can unwind and come back to center, hug your knees in, and then twist the other way. So left leg could be on top or do the other side. Anger is the deepest form of compassion for another, for the world, for the self, for a life, for the body, for a family, and for all our ideals, all vulnerable and all possibly about to be hurt. Stripped of physical imprisonment and violent reaction, anger is the purest form of care. The internal living flame of anger always illuminates what we belong to, what we wish to protect, and what we are willing to hazard ourselves for. If you're in that twist and you want to unwind at some point, you can unwind the legs. Make sure you feel balanced. Whatever you're taking, be sure you get a counterbalance. And when you feel ready, we'll enter into final resting pose. So you can just lay your body flat to the earth and just let go for a moment. What we usually call anger is only what is left of its essence when we are overwhelmed by its accompanying vulnerability, when it reaches the lost surface of our mind or our body's incapacity to hold it, or when it touches the limits of our understanding. What we name as anger is actually only the incoherent physical incapacity to sustain the deep form of care in our outer daily life. The unwillingness to be large enough and generous enough and to hold what we love hopelessly in our bodies or our mind with the clarity and breadth of our whole being. So as you rest here, take a few breaths, just let yourself completely soften back to be held, and allow all doing to soften back and just be for a bit. What we have named as anger on the surface is the violent outer response to our own inner powerlessness, a powerlessness connected to such a profound sense of rawness and care that it can find no proper outer body or identity or voice or way of life to hold it. What we call anger is often simply the unwillingness to live the full measure of our fears or of our not knowing in the face of our love for a wife, in the depth of our caring for a son, in our wanting the best, in the face of simply being alive and loving those with whom we live. Our anger breaks to the surface most often through our feeling there is something profoundly wrong with this powerlessness and vulnerability. Anger in its pure state is the measure of the way we are implicated in the world and made vulnerable through love in all its specifics. Anger truly felt at its center is the essential living flame of being fully alive and fully here. It is a quality to be followed to its source, to be prized, to be tended, and an invitation to finding a way to bring that source fully into the world through making the mind clearer and more generous, the heart more compassionate, and the body larger and strong enough to hold it. What we call anger on the surface only serves to define its true underlying quality by being a complete but absolute mirror opposite of its true internal essence. I will send that in a follow-up email because I just find it to be so beautiful. That's David White. I always find his stuff to be so beautiful. And please give yourself like 5 more deep breath cycles. Maybe the hands are on your body so you can really feel that ebb and flow. The tidal movement of your own form. And then you can, whenever it feels like the right moment, begin to stir yourself. Blinking the eyes, letting the head move side to side, perhaps curling the fingers into your hands and toes into your feet and circling the wrists and the ankles. You can stretch your arms over the head. And take a really big breath into all that you are right in this moment, all of you. As you exhale, feel free to roll off to a side and gently build yourself into a seat. Thank you. And you can sit up nice and tall, meet the hands in front of the heart. Well, thank you so much for practicing. I realize I went a few minutes over and I do deeply apologize for that. But the class start came on a little slow, so I'm sorry about that. I bow to each of you in so much love, respect, honor. I'm here if you have any needs that I can support you with. I bow to you. Namaste.